chance.
Oh my goodness. Am I frozen? There's no way I'm frozen. I can't be frozen. Okay, I am not frozen. Welcome to Pink Table Talk. I can't believe this is episode 28. Such a significant number. Today is joyful, exciting, and I might even shed a tear, okay? I can't believe it, but one of my dearest, closest friends, I don't know why Kathy put on there, introducing to the world, because if you are my social media friend, you know my friend Crisette, okay? She really is not a friend. She really is a sister. We have done so many decades of life together. We call ourselves the Force of Friendship, plus 2 more, but today is all about her life, her legacy, and just celebrating who she be in my life, but mostly in this pink bubble, Mary Kay. So those of you that are in the chat, just give Lady Crisette some love. This is going to go far and wide. Those of you watching it up close and personal, and those of you who watch #replay, this will live on as we tell her Mary Kay story today. But I also want to remind the guests, we are giving some cash away. So for being here today, you are entered into our next drawing. And those of you that have been our hostesses and have been our clients are entered into a drawing we're going to give away today. So stay till the end when we spin the wheel and we see you are a winner. So I'm bringing to the stage one of my closest girlfriends. Hey, just dance to the bone, my sister. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Katrina.
You here. This is so fun. This is so fun having you. We are forever on live together, but this is the pink table. So welcome to the pink table where I got on black, you got on orange, but welcome to the pink table.
Thank you for the invite, my friend. I appreciate it.
You look fabulous as always. We're going to talk about that too. Always my fashionista girlfriend, truly Proverbs 31 woman. Crisette, just introduce yourself to the world. How do you introduce yourself? Who is Crisette Ellis?
Okay, so that is a power-packed question. So I often think, when I think about myself, I think about all the different hats that I have to wear. So I am a wife to my husband, Bishop Charles H. Ellis III. I'm also a mother to 2 amazing children, Kiera and Charles. I'm also a brand new grandmother, and my grandmother name is Honey. Okay, and I'm excited about that. And just recently found out I'm going to be Honey, Honey Part 2. Okay, or Honey to the nth degree, because my daughter Kiera, of course, your niece, she told us she's pregnant, so she's expecting her first child next year. So that's really exciting. I'm an entrepreneur, an author, and I just remember one time hearing Bishop Jakes say, "Don't ever allow someone to put a comma by a period by your name when God intended there to be a comma." So I think I'm just a person who loves life. I love experiencing new things. And as you said, I'm definitely not going to run from it, not going to shy away from it. I'm a fashionista. I need to learn how to say the word. I love all things fashion, and I know for sure I got that from my mother. So I love people. I love helping people. I love to see people operating in their gift. And I always say, I think I'm a person that's an encourager. When I find that people have a gift, I really encourage them to use it in ministry and to use it to be a blessing to other people. So kind of in a nutshell, I kind of see myself as this woman that just loves to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. It's so good. That is so good. I asked the question, and I just always say, not everybody's always close to me. I mean, seriously, I have a picture of me and Mary Kay. I have my mama and my daddy. And right here is a picture of my girlfriends. Okay. So
yeah,
always close. So I always ask my guests on the pink table, how would your friends describe you? But I'm just going to tell you how we describe you. I mean, number one, the biggest part. I once was asked when Gloria was in her relaunch phase. I remember being interviewed, Chris, and he asked me, how would you describe Gloria? And I remember the words I said. And just now, it's like Holy Spirit downloaded those. It's exactly the way I would describe you. It's bigger than life, but you never feel small in her space. I mean, you make everyone feel so important, so special. But when I tell you my friend is bad to the bone, when I tell you, you will see her. She is in the who's who, okay? The who's who of not just Detroit, but in the Pentecostal Assemblies of the West, in the Mary Kay world. I mean, you just, Chris, wear so many big hats, and we never see you sweat. You're so gifted. You're gifted in making things beautiful. You're gifted in making things, making other people feel good. And you are always celebrating the new. I mean, you talk about turn the page, Our girl Kamala talked a lot about turn the page. You are the one who's like, turn the page. What's new? What's next? And so we know your next is going to include something like fashion, but we can't wait to see what else God has in store, because of course it's so much bigger than that. So I just answered that question for you. But if you were to ask Cherie, what would Cherie, your some of your closest friends outside of Mary Kay, what else would they add? Maybe that the audience doesn't know.
I think Cherie would definitely say I'm anointed, and that, God has great plans and things that he wants me to do that I have yet to do. She was probably the only friend that when I joined Mary Kay and I was telling her all about it, she just kind of snickered and said, "Ooh," she said, "That's a part of God's plan for you." And I thought she was being a little deep. I said, "I'm just going to sell some Mary Kay, some lipstick, some skincare." I wasn't looking at it as a ministry. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even looking at it as a fertile ground or a training ground that where God was, going to downpour into me to help me later, much later in life, use a lot of what I've learned in Mary Kay. And so I always attribute that to her, because she was really thinking, years and years down the road, how this period in my life would become a full circle moment for me. So I think that, my friends, funny, they're like, you're really kind of crazy. Adventurous, I'm really a spontaneous person. I like to do new things, exciting things. And so, some of the same things that you guys say, cool, calm, and collected, classy. A lot of people will tell me that. And then they just, most people will say, she's just really a nice person. And I'm going to tell you, of all the accolades that, people have bestowed upon me or said, that's the one that's most near and dear to me, is because, within our Mary Kay training, and even before then, Mary Kay said it this way: people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. People, you want to make sure that people, feel good. Everybody wears that invisible sign around their neck that says, make me feel important. And that's really what I try to do. When people leave my space, I want them to leave saying, you know what, she's really nice. And that's how I try to treat everyone.
That is so you. And just even 4 sisters, Chris, you have 4 sisters?
Yes.
4 sisters. So I'm an only child. So to watch you with your 4 sisters, the Green Girls, and for you still to have space for such rich friendships. We both know a lot of women that really their sisters are their only friends.
Right.
Like, outside of their family, like that's the only people that they let close. And sometimes it's not even all the sisters, right?
Right.
But that says a lot about you, and all of your friends know all of your friends. Like, we know Benita, we know Cherie, we know all the Green Girls. It is really great. And you and Kiera have such a great friendship, which just talk about what it's been like to develop a friendship with your daughter.
Well, when you have a daughter, having a daughter is very special, first of all. And, growing up, it was just, a normal mother and daughter relationship. And I think, what made us really, really closer when she became a young adult was the fact that she decided, that she wanted to give Mary Kay a try. There was never any pressure. And I really thought, even though I heard the stories of top directors and national sales directors saying that their daughter, were in Mary Kay, I said, well, I won't have that story. My daughter, she was going to the University of Michigan and she was going to do her own thing. And literally, after graduating, she said, I'm just going to give it a try. She worked a little bit in her field and then decided, she was in social work, to try Mary Kay, and the bug hit her. Okay. And she never turned back. So I think the fact that we were both in the same business and working so closely, she was 2.5 years old when I began my Mary Kay aspect of this business. She was, when I would hold meetings at my house, she was the greeter and she would welcome everybody into my house. I'll never forget one fun story. I still remember when I was having my meeting in my lower level and they had just come out with the new fragrance, Balara. So I gave it to Kiera and I said, Kiera, when they come in, I want you to spray everybody and say, what do you think about this new Mary Kay fragrance, Balara? And it was the cutest thing. I would hear the door, bell ring, and she'd open the door and she was standing right there. She had the fragrance, and every single consultant that came in, she would spray them. And she's like, what do you think about this new fragrance? And it was so cute. So she saw me, and we know the saying, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. So I think we've become very close because, again, she was just a baby when I started Mary Kay. And then over the years, us going to seminar together every year. Even before she got into Mary Kay, she came to seminar. She was my roommate and has been my roommate, since I've become a national sales director. We've done programs together, events together. My people in Mary Kay know her. They love her. And Kiera, literally, she calls me or we talk at least 3 or 4 times a day. So we are attached at hip. And it really is a special relationship because being in ministry, I know of mothers and daughters that don't have that kind of relationship and they desire to have that kind of relationship. And so I am thankful and grateful every single day that we are literally 2 peas in a pot. So people think, oh, you're getting out of Mary Kay. I'm retiring. I'm moving on, relaunching, but I'm still going to be all up in it because Kiera, is going to be all up in it. So it's really kind of having the best of both worlds. But yeah, we're extremely close. And I attribute that a lot to the fact that we have worked together for so many years and have just really grown together, appreciated each other. And I'll end by saying this. One of the things I love about here, even with we are friends, she's never crossed the line of being my daughter, because there are times where I always tell her, she and my son Charles, they're grown. Okay, when you start having children, you are grown. But even though they're grown, very respectful, never have crossed the line. She understands that even though we're friends, we laugh, we joke, she still respects me as her mother.
That's a blessing. That is such a blessing. We're going to put it in, but just for our audience, you heard Chris retire, okay, relaunch, all of that. And we're going to talk about one of the joys of this business is it's $35 to get started. For us, it was $100 all those years ago. And as national sales directors, there is a family security program that when we reach a certain age or a certain number of years in the company, you can relaunch, and the company is going to compensate Crisette and her family for 15 years, and she's able to pass a portion of her business on her daughter. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But before we get to that, ministry is such a big part of what you do. And so talk to us about ministry and your position and how you fit that in overall to your life.
Awesome. That's a great question, Katrina. So before Mary Kay, I was raised in church from a child up. Church was all I knew. And I knew as I got older and went to college, and, I knew that, I would marry somebody that, was a Christian and had strong beliefs in God, that went to church on a regular basis. And this is funny. When I was in high school, and, they have the most likely to, succeed, the most likely to do this, that, and that. Mine was, and it's hilarious, the most likely to marry a minister. That's hilarious. But anyway, they got that part right. So ministry for me is so important. And one of the reasons that I was attracted to the Mary Kay opportunity was because of the company's philosophy, which is God first, family second, and career third. And I had never heard of a company that ever mentioned, outside of you working for a church or a ministry, had ever mentioned putting God first. So, that really made me kind of lean in when my senior at the time, Kim Wells, she's Walker now, was at my house talking about the opportunity. So the other thing that I love about the Mary Kay opportunity, because it really is ministry. I remember early on in my career, Katrina, when we would have to fly to different events, whether it was a jumpstart or if somebody was putting on a red jacket summit, whatever it was, early on, I was traveling all over so that I could learn the business and know what I needed to do as a leader. And every time I would come home, I always felt like I had just gone to a women's retreat, because they would always talk about God. They would intersperse scriptures in there. They would talk about, how God created us and just the gifts and the talents. And even though I was raised in church, I want to say that the Mary Kay opportunity was another level of really opening up for me, or really allowing me to see and understand the gifts that God had given, and to be able to operate in them in a different manner. So I think it was a perfect fit for me, because still to this day, I think Mary Kay is a ministry, because there are so many women who, don't even know how gifted they are. But once they step into Mary Kay and they start to understand this business, and they learn how to step out of their comfort zone and to feel the fear and do it anyway, it just opens up a new understanding for them. And then last thing I'll say, there are so many hundreds of individual women that came into Mary Kay and didn't know Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And because it is a business that was built on God first, family second, and Mary Kay was not shy at all about her belief, her
Mm-hmm.
Christianity. They are in contact with, and they are able to meet other women who love the Lord and talk about the Lord freely without being ashamed or afraid to say it. And I just think that's such a blessing that so many have been able to learn about the Lord and actually accept him because of this opportunity. So I think ministry for me has never stopped. It is important. It will always be important to me. But I always say I'm so thankful and grateful that God knew where I would be at this moment in my life at this time and what other things he had in store for me to do. But he said, I'm going to drop her and Mary Kay to kind of help train her, smooth her around the edges. I always say, he was like, it's not going to be cute for her every time she gets up in front of a crowd that she passes out. So I got to put her in a training ground so that she can learn how to become comfortable and to learn how to speak in front of, whether it's a small crowd or whether it's hundreds or thousands of people. So yes, Mary Kay and ministry for me has gone 1-on-1, and it really has been a perfect match.
I mean, everything you said, and God also put you in Mary Kay to influence me. I mean, can you believe, Chris, 12 years ago on 12/12/12 at 12/12 is when Anthony and I got married. Part of the reason we're doing this week and not next week, because we're celebrating our anniversary in Hawaii. Yay.
Oh, yeah.
I would not have the marriage I have, and I don't even know if I would be married to him if it wasn't for the example that God gave me in you and Bishop Ellis. I mean, watching the two of you and how you do ministry, I just want to ask you, because so many women say supportive spouse, if Bishop was here, what would he say about why he is so glad, thinking even about the early years, why he's so glad that you got started and that he was supportive?
I really believe that he has always been the type of man that wanted to even be with a woman that had her own life, set her own goals, didn't want to get lost in who he was. And so I think he would be very appreciative of that. I would also say that, he would definitely tell you that, he has benefited greatly from me being a part of Mary Kay. I mean, many of the experiences that he has had as far as being able to travel all across the world on his wife's dime. I mean, I love the fact that when we travel to all of these amazing places, it's not the husband's names that are on the rooms, the hotel rooms, or the cruise ships. It's in their wife's name. And it used to be funny because he's so used to going different places. And it's funny, like we walk through the airport and people are whispering, and I'm laughing, saying they recognize who he is. And I used to say to him, no, you can't do anything because people are always watching you and you don't even know that they're watching you. And so there were early on in the career when I was moving up the career ladder and, becoming a top director and then eventually a national sales director. And you know how that is, people are so happy for you. They want to take pictures with you. You inspired them and so on and so forth. And so when we would go to these events, they would say, hey, you, can you take a picture with your wife and I? And he was like, I'm Bishop Charles A. Ellis III. I'm the presiding bishop of the PAW, right? And this is what he said in his hand. He said, I have been reduced to, hey, you, man, come here, man, take this picture. And so we laugh about that. I think he would say he loved that all of the experience that I have gotten from being a part of Mary Kay, I've been able to take it and use it even in ministry. One of the things that I definitely will credit Mary Kay with is, teaching me really how to treat people and love on people. And you could think, hey, you should automatically know that as a Christian, but we know that's not one and the same. Who was that? Was it Buddha that said, I almost became a Christian until I met one? So, we definitely know that those two aren't one and the same. But I really believe that my husband would shout off of the mountaintop, Mary Kay and all that I have become through that process, and how it has enriched our family, how it has enriched even our church family, and even, some of the things that we have done at the church. I put a little Mary Kay flair on it because of some of the things that I've seen. So I think that he would be so appreciative of the Mary Kay opportunity and the 32, almost close to 33 years that I have been a part of Mary Kay.
Wow, that's so good. And I always hear him, I know at your retreat where we celebrated your relaunch, he talked about all the golf courses he's played on all over the world. So that is so cool. I'm reminded when you talk about Mary Kay's philosophy of God first, family second, career third. It's not just, for those of you watching, it's not just in our books or in our flip chart and so forth. I mean, Mary Kay Ash, the woman, lived it out. And I know, Chris, I've been screaming from the rooftop about my new favorite movie, Bonhoeffer. And in that movie, you have to watch it, about a German pastor, but he was highly influenced by the Black church. And there's a scene in the movie where he is teaching Black kids in, I believe, St. Louis. And while I was in the movie, I thought, that's Mary Kay's story, y'all. She was the president and CEO of Mary Kay. And we hear the story about one day when she was driving herself and someone called and they needed Bibles at a church on, I believe, the south side of Dallas. And it was a small Black church, probably in the 70s. And do you know that Mary Kay didn't just go and teach and bring the Bibles, but that day there was no one to teach the kids. And so she went in the church and taught the kids. And I believe it's, don't quote me, somebody can correct us in the chat, but I believe it was for a year at least that Mary Kay led that Bible study in that small African-American church in Dallas as the CEO of Mary Kay. I mean, that's not just having your name on the building. That is walking the walk. And that's what we learn, right? Mm-hmm. Marketplace ministry, like really walking it out for real. So Chris, you rose to the top level of business, and now you have this option of retiring. What have you've talked about? I'm just going to kind of ask these questions combined. What was it why are you glad you started, which you really did have talked about that as well. And what would you say are the greatest lessons that you're going to carry on into your next?
Wow. Okay. So the main reason that I am thankful that I started Mary Kay was because at that period of my life, I was just starting a family. So Kiera was 2.5 years old. My son Charles was 10.5 months old. And I was pregnant with my third child, Kirsten, 6 months pregnant. So my hands were filled with children. And, the old saying, be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. And I can remember thinking while I was pregnant, saying, I really didn't want to go back to my 9-to-5 job. I was a program control analyst at Ford Motor Company. And even though, when I graduated from college, my goal I really thought was going to be to become this corporate executive and rise through the ranks and, be this corporate woman and so on and so forth. But once I had my kids, my goal kind of changed. Even though I wanted to use my education, I wanted to be able to add to the household financially, I still was pulled at wanting to be at home with my children. So I was the woman that wanted her cake and I wanted to eat it. And so with Mary Kay, when I found out that there was flexibility and that I could set my own hours and make as much money as I wanted to, being 6 months pregnant, I didn't want anybody calling me up, telling me I had a quota and you need to sell this. And it was all about, hey, if you only want to make $300 a week, this is the activities you need to do. If you want to make $500 a week, this is what you have to do. And I literally worked the business at my pace, but it was moving so quickly and the money was coming. I was like, oh, I can find a little bit more time to make more money. And it was wonderful because, during that time, it literally was a home-based business. Of course, we didn't have computers at that time. We weren't doing any Zooms, and we know the business has changed tremendously since I've started. But for me, it was the flexibility. It was being able to be at home with my children. And so oh my goodness, we don't have enough time for me to really share all of the lessons that I've learned with Mary Kay. I would say one of the ones that has served me well is when Mary Kay says, feel the fear and do it anyway. Because one of the things that I know about myself and about people in general is that you can stunt your growth. You can be complacent. You cannot become everything that God has created you to be because of fear. Because sometimes the thing that you fear doing is the very thing that God has called you to do. Mm-hmm. And I had to really sit back and say, wow, I would never have put myself in a space where I would have to speak in front of people, speak in front of crowds. I could have been so content with being a background person, being a pastor's wife, sitting on the front row, middle of the row. I could have been in the back of the row and I would have been comfortable. But God many times calls us to step out of our comfort zone because he knows that there is more in you. So I would say learning how to feel the fear and do it anyway. And then just the people that I've met on this journey. I think about some of my closest friends, Katrina, Gloria, Sabrina, Bridget, Andrea, Nora. I mean, the list goes on and on of special people that I would have never have met had it not been for Mary Kay. And each of those names that I have named, they all have taught me many things. I would think sometimes, how would Gloria do this? What would Sabrina do? How would Katrina? I mean, even, Katrina, let me just give you some accolades because you're so brilliant and you're so technology advanced. There are times where I told Chuck, there really is a smarter way to do it. Katrina would do it this, and you could name have absolutely come up in conversations when we talk about how to maximize and do things better. So I just think, how blessed have I been to be a part of an organization that's helped the part of. And so the many lessons that I know as I relaunch, they are going to serve me well in whatever, God takes me and whatever I do in these next years. So again, Mary Kay has really been such a great training ground, a great training space for me.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I think we got a little bit of breaking up. We're almost at the end, you guys. We're about to wrap up. And I think, Dorothy, is it just me or is it breaking up just a little bit over there? I think. So, Chris, as we wrap up today, I want you just to brag on your kids. Hopefully we can hear you. It's a little bit, you got fuzzy all of a sudden. And so hopefully we can hear you. Yeah, it is breaking up a little bit. So Dorothy, pop up the pics of the kids. And Chris, we're bragging on the kids. You just talked about the grown kids. I know you really want to get to the picture of Honey. So but show all the kids, Dorothy, Kiera and her amazing husband, DeCoven. Oh my goodness. So just going to brag on your son and his offspring.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know what? Because Kiera and I have been in business for so many years together, sometimes I'm like, oh, don't forget to mention Buddy because, you got to make sure you don't give one more than you give the other. So my son, Charles, we lovingly call Buddy. Oh my goodness. He is an amazing young man. I think about just how much of an influence we as parents have over our children. I remember during the pandemic, he signed up to do Shipped and he was shipping everywhere. I mean, just here, there, and everywhere. And, just that entrepreneurial spirit. And then, he did extremely well with that. I mean, it was so funny. His customer service was so good with Ship. He was like, oh, yeah, I'm really good to my customers because they tip well when you're good to them. I said, okay, good. You learn some of that in Mary Kay from your mom. And then, I mean, just his brilliance. He went back and got his master's degree. And, he's such a negotiator. Buddy is a negotiator. So I remember when he decided, because, my husband, when they were a child, Michigan has this, I don't know if they're still doing it, where they would match how much money you save as long as your child went to a college within the state. If you save, 10,000, they would match it with another 10. So early on, my husband was saving. So really, by the time it's time for them to go to college, their money was already there. So he's like, okay, I am obligated to pay for your college, but after that, you're on your own. So when he decided he wanted to get his master's, I never forget, he came in the bedroom, and when he's talking to you, he paces around in a circle like, you're making my head hurt. Sit down. And he said, okay, so listen, this is what I was thinking we could do. He said, I'm going to go back and get my master's. It's only 2 years. And Dad, I'm going to Wayne State, which was his alma mater. He went to Michigan State, which is where I got my undergraduate degree. He said, so this is what I was thinking we could do. He said, Dad, you pay 1 month of tuition, and then Mom, you pay the next month, and then I'll pay the next month. So we'll be in rotation. You pay a month, you pay a month, and then I'll pay a month. And I said, that is such a buddy thing. And you know what? We did it because he put himself in the equation. So as long as you got some skin in the game, we're going to do it. So, he has his master's. I mean, he's a entrepreneur at heart. He flips houses. And I'm going to say this. He is an amazing father. I see how active he is in my grandson's life. And you can tell because when he comes in the room, my grandson, he lights up like a Christmas tree. He smiles from ear to ear. So he's a great dad. And, he's a great husband. And I'll say this, it's so funny how when your children get married, you're not really sure how they're going to be, as a spouse. And one of the things about Buddy, all his life, he hated taking pictures, Katrina. I mean, we would have to almost bribe him. Please smile. Show us your teeth. Come on. We spent money. We had braces on your teeth. You have great teeth. Smile. And he give us a half smile. Do you know they just did amazing photo shoot, and you can put it on the screen. And all of a sudden, he's smiling from ear to ear. I said, he does have teeth. I said, oh, it took a wife, Angelica, who we absolutely adore, to teach him how to smile. So now, say lights, camera, action. He is smiling ear to ear and showing teeth. Okay. So yeah, I'm so proud of my son, Charles, and his beautiful wife. And, they gave me the milkman. Charles H. Ellis V is his name, but for me, he's my milkman. And the sun rises and sets on the milkman. Let's and of course, I know I've already talked about Kiera, but we are just so excited about her new bundle of joy that she's going to be having. June 6th, I believe, is her due date, and we are praying. And she said, "Yeah, pray." She said, "But I know I'm having a girl." So, I just anybody that knows of a Grandmothers Anonymous that I need to join, when it comes to shopping for, girls, put it in the chat because I need to sign up like tomorrow. I need to sign up tomorrow.
On and popping. And again, one of the joys of saying yes to entrepreneurship all those years ago is part of your relaunch. When we talk about your next, I know the next is the milkman and the baby girl that's coming. Okay. I mean, Chris, this is just such a joy. It really is a blessing that you got to share so much more of your story. You guys make sure that you're following at Lady Crisette on Instagram. You're going to be on all the places. Follow my girlfriend on Facebook, on TikTok, on all the places so that you can be inspired, not just about who you are in ministry, but whatever you do with fashion, whatever you do in your next. And we are going to be holding tight to Kiera, who will carry on that Elite One legacy as, caring for your unit and building her own unit larger than life, which is really amazing.
And let me just add this real quickly, because I know we're coming to the end. I mean, what an opportunity Mary Kay is, that Kiera was 2.5 years old when I started Mary Kay. And for me to be able to give her my unit, a wonderful unit of amazing women that have loved me for over 32 years. And now they're like, okay, we're in it to win it, and we're going to be there for Kiera. So the legacy of being able to pass that onto her, and now she's going to build it bigger and better. I just believe that, eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard just how explosive the Elite Entrepreneurs unit is going to be, because now they have my daughter at the helm of it. And so that's a blessing that continues to go on and on and on. And so I'll be forever thankful that I joined Mary Kay and was able to gift that to my daughter.
And of all the places that you want to bring a Cadillac, it is to the D. Okay.
Come on.
So pink Cadillac, pink Cadillac, pink Cadillac. For our guests, y'all, I just want to thank you for hanging. I know that you have been inspired by Chris's story, and we want to encourage you. 5 quick fun facts why you want to get started. We talked about all of it, how we make money, 50% of everything we sell. I mean, we have made lots and lots of money, and we've loved getting our own products for 50%. Like, that is a joy. You don't lose that even when you retire. So whether you want to be a brand ambassador and you want to do just a little bit, you want to do a lot, you can do in person, you can do virtual, you can do all the ways. It is really cool, and there's no sales experience. Flexibility with your time. I mean, Chris, you totally knocked that out of the park. Some people do this hobby. Some people, this is a side hustle. Some of you, it's part-time. It could be your full-time gig. Totally up to you. Dual marketing concept. I mean, nobody wants to be a part of a pyramid scheme or, all the things that go into when people think network marketing. Mary Kay is real business. We enrich women's lives. We offer women the opportunity to sell direct as with a retail business. So this is a real business. It's the reason we've been around for so long, based out of Dallas, Texas. Collaboration. We couldn't talk more about how we collaborate, how we don't compete, how much we encourage. Probably, wouldn't you say, 90% of the ideas we have shared, 10% have been our own and 90% have been somebody else's. Like, we just share in Mary Kay. Rich rewards. We both have more carrots than Bugs Bunny. Mary Kay's given us, I'm sure, between the two of us, over 100 carrots. I mean, that's stupid and crazy. And we have traveled all around the world. Cars galore. So, of course, as nationals, we roll in the pink Escalade, which is really amazing. And you can choose to get started in Mary Kay, I think I have it on here. You can choose. It's $35 to get started. And then you can decide if you want to add on $45 for your e-start with some samples, or the Pro Start, which is full size product. So right before we give our cash away, we want to invite you to be a part of what we do. And we also want to invite you to experience our great product. We have one product special for you today. And we love all our Mary Kay products, but Chris, in the wintertime, what's one of our favorite products?
Let me tell you, my favorite product during the wintertime is satin hands. Satin hands, because especially in Michigan, when the weather changes, it's cold outside and your hands become very dry. So I love the fact that it has the skin softener. And then, Katrina, the new limited edition fragrance, the lilac. Yeah. OMG. This is the gift that will keep on giving. You absolutely want to give this satin hands to all of your family, your friends, and they will be talking about you and that gift for a long time. But yeah, satin hands is by far one of my favorite. And it's funny, whenever I was started early in my career doing skincare classes, and even, as I, kept doing skincare classes later, and I would say, Mary Kay, the first thing that many people say, do they still sell that satin hand stuff that stands for your hands? We love that. So down through the years, the satin hands has been the overall favorite of so many people. So many people love our satin hands.
And all of us have given it as a gift. This is the easiest, best, most quality gift. No one returns it. Everybody loves it and everybody uses it. So tonight, you don't just get one, but you can get multiple satin hands when you buy 2 satin hands. And you can get the citrus and lilac, or you can get our traditional, or you can get no fragrance if you want to get it for the men in your life as well. Buy 2 satin hands, you get the third one half price. So some of you are like, I need 10 of them. Okay, so talk to your beauty consultant. She can hook you up. We want to thank Chris for being on the pink table, and we're going to give her a big old shout out and a big, where is my big round of applause? I just got to applaud. Yay. And you guys, Dorothy is about to spin the wheel, and you're going to see who our cash drawing winner is. Make sure that you let your beauty consultant know that you were the winner, and she will hit you up and make sure that I send you the cash. Okay, get excited. So here comes the wheel. Thanks, Chris, so much. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming out, and let's see who our winner is.
Thank you so much, Katrina.
You're welcome. Bye.
Oh my gosh. Did you think I was live? One of the things that I love so much about what I do is that with technology, we could do multiple things. I am here at Davies Symphony Hall in downtown San Francisco. It is decorated beautifully. Can you see the symphony? And we are about to spin the wheel. I'm about to see Peebo Bryson and Jennifer Holiday and BB Winans, Alita Adams. It is unbelievable. But one of you, I'm gonna give some cash to. So let's spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. Chris and I pre-recorded earlier today so I could be here at the symphony. So who's the winner? Here we go. Ooh. And the winner is Merry Christmas. Everybody's a winner. Somebody's getting some cash. Valerie Otterness, her guest, Priscilla Carball. Let's give it up for Priscilla. Congratulations. And Merry Christmas. But let me just say this, you guys. December, what we didn't say is Chris. She loves her grandbabies and loves her kids. Can you tell she's ready to relaunch? We didn't talk about why December is the month to get started. Chris started her business in December. This is a great month for you to join Mary Kay, and I hope that you will make a $35 investment that changed my life, changed my mama's life, who's sitting right here and has made such a difference. I hope that you will join us. So thank you. Bye-bye from the symphony. Thank you. Thanks, Dorothy.